Turning to the Middle East, Israeli settlers attacked 2 Palestinian communities in the occupied West Bank earlier this week, the latest in a string of violent attacks.
Around 60 or 70 settlers entered our premises and they started attacking our employees. We instructed our employees to take shelter and look after their safety. Our employees locked themselves inside of our premises, and then the settlers started attacking the premises from the outside, throwing stones on the windows, and then started burning our trucks.
4 Palestinians were wounded in the attacks. The police say that 4 suspects were arrested and 3 have since been released. The United Nations Humanitarian Office reports that there were 264 settler attacks in October, the highest monthly total since tracking began nearly 20 years ago. Israeli President Isaac Herzog has condemned the attacks in the West Bank, calling them shocking and severe. For more on this, CBC senior reporter Tom Perry joined us from Jerusalem.
Israeli media is reporting another attack this week by settlers, this time against a mosque in a Palestinian community in the West Bank. Reports that the mosque was set fire. There was a fire set inside the mosque. There was anti-Palestinian graffiti sprayed on the building as well. Now, we've also been hearing these reports of settlers going after Palestinian farmers, attacking them as they try to bring in their olive harvest. The olives, of course, a big part of the West Bank economy. And as you pointed out, as you mentioned, we saw this week this mass arson attack by masked settlers going into these West Bank communities, attacking Palestinians, burning buildings, burning vehicles. We heard from the director of a dairy just the year before, talking about how his employees had to hide inside as these settlers set fire to trucks outside. We did hear from the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, saying how they themselves, their troops, came under assault when they apprehended 4 of the attackers. And as you mentioned, Isaac Herzog, the Israeli president, has condemned the attack. He's blaming it on a small group of what he calls dangerous individuals. We heard from the IDF as well, blaming these anarchist youth. That commander, that IDF commander who blamed the anarchist youth for these attacks, also reminded IDF soldiers in the West Bank that they should not stand idly by while these attacks are going on. But human rights groups say that's exactly what happens. The UN says that as well. They put out a report last month talking about the shocking increase in attacks by settlers against Palestinians in the West Bank, and saying that what often happens is that Israeli authorities either turn a blind eye or are actively supporting what's going on, and that these settlers are acting with a sense of complete impunity.
The U.S. always plays a pivotal role in the ongoing tensions between Palestinians and Israelis. How is the U.S. responding to this latest set of violence?
Well, Marco Rubio, the U.S. Secretary of State, was in Canada yesterday in Niagara-on-the-Lake, meeting with his fellow G7 foreign ministers. His boss, Donald Trump, was in Egypt last month in Sharm el-Sheikh, finalizing this peace deal in Gaza between Hamas and Israel. And Marco Rubio was asked whether the unrest, the violence in the West Bank could undermine that. Here's what he said.
Look, certainly there's some concern about events in the West Bank spilling over and creating an effect that could undermine what we're doing in Gaza. We don't expect it to. We'll do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen.
So that was Marco Rubio, I guess, expressing concern about what's going on in the West Bank, but really, I guess, downplaying what that could mean to the agreement in Gaza. Now, of course, there are all kinds of questions about the ceasefire in Gaza moving forward. And I guess there are still questions as well about how seriously Israeli authorities are going to take this rise, this increase in settler attacks against Palestinians in the West Bank.